So, one of my favorite characters in the Kingdom Hearts games is Ven, and he's had a pretty rough time these past few years. Like, he's been getting the shaft for almost a decade now. And with the rise of Aqua Nord or Dark Aqua or whatever it ends up actually being in the game, because who knows, we're probably all dead wrong about what's going on there. The main concern I have, aside from, obvious concern for Aqua, is the implication that her fall to the dark side has for Ven. What happens to him now? She may not have been the one who has his heart and is needed to wake him up, really, but she's the only one who knows how to find him. Without her, we're kinda totally boned, right? If Aquanort is canon, then that means so far we have 12 Seekers of Darkness, and wouldn't it just be some kind of great poetic irony if Xehanort rounds out his squad to 13 by getting the hat trick and making Ven his final vessel? After all, Nomine's message did say their hurting will be mended when you return to end it. Not save them or wake them up or whatever, but end it. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. One of the biggest offenses I've seen for Xehanort not being able to turn Ventus into a vessel is that technically he's heartless right now, since his heart is with Sora and Roxas. But hey, here's a scary thought. Ansem, Seeker of Darkness, the heartless main villain of Kingdom Hearts 1. He became a vessel, and he, like, by very definition, has no heart. So what if Ven is just free real estate for Xehanort at this point? Like, if Aqua leads Xehanort to Ven, and Xehanort can possess heartless beings, and Ven has no heart in him to fight back with, that's just a yikes. It's just a recipe for a big old yikes. Like, if we get a white-haired, yellow-eyed Ven in the next trailer, I might actually have a heart attack. Another defense for Xehanort not making Ven a vessel is that he kind of needs Ven to stay on the side of the light so that he can fight Vanitas and forge the Keyblade. The X-Blade, Keyblade, fancy one. That's kind of almost the whole point of Birth by Sleep, right? But we don't know anything for sure, and Xehanort's plan is kind of a mystery to us. And clearly they aren't afraid of breaking out the big plot twists for the sake of drama this game. So we don't really know what the future of Ven looks like right now, aside from the fact that it's shaky AF. But here are a few theories that give me some hope that the reveal of Aquanort is not the end of all hope for Ven as well. Number one, we don't actually know that we necessarily need Aqua to find Ven. This scene I'm about to play seems pretty cut and dry, like Aqua's the one who locked away the land of departure, so she's the one who we need to unlock it, right? But give it a close listen, because maybe not.
Aqua,
Yes?
now that you are a master, there is one secret in particular you must know. Should anything happen to me, and you find the Legion of Darkness at our doorstep, I ask that you take my Keyblade and use it to lock this land away.
What?
Generations of Keyblade Masters have been charged with keeping this land safe. Light and darkness exist in balance here, and there are those who would abuse such neutral ground. This is why our predecessors devised a certain trick. Just use the key, and this land will be transformed. From that day forward, all who visit this land will be lost to oblivion. None ever able to solve the mystery. None, Aqua. Except you.
And the handful of nobodies that turned your castle into their own personal party city, but that's neither here nor there. So it sounds like all that you really need to lock and unlock this land is to, one, be a master, and two, have Ericus's Keyblade. Like, it sounds like anyone could potentially do the locking and unlocking. He does say none could solve the mystery except for Aqua, but he could have just been talking rhetorically about Keyblade Masters in general, maybe. I've always thought of it as like anyone could potentially lock or unlock it, but once it's been locked by someone, only the person that did the locking can then go and open it. But maybe not. We just don't know at this point. But you know who might know? Yen Sid. And if all it ends up taking is a few Keyblade Masters and Ericus's Keyblade, then I think Mickey and Riku could handle that pretty easily. Then there's that scene of Sora finding Ericus's Keyblade on the beach of Destiny Island. Maybe Aqua knew something was going to happen to her, so she sent the Keyblade away in the hopes that someone else would be able to find it and get Ven back. This trailer's pretty old at this point and not necessarily canon, but there's a pretty striking parallel between Sora walking up to Ericus's Keyblade on the sand in the Realm of Light and Aqua walking up to Mickey's Keyblade in the Realm of Darkness. So maybe there's something there. Maybe Aqua was reaching out to Sora in some small way before she fell to the darkness. Number 2, the good guys are surprisingly close to figuring out where Ven is, even without Aqua. Like, they might not be able to physically get into the chamber without her, but they're pretty close to cracking the case as far as where he's been hidden. Most people know about the two chambers and where they are. Like, Sayax has Axel searching all up and down Castle Oblivion for the Chamber of Waking multiple times, and we don't actually know if he ever found it or not. It seems like it would be impossible based on what Erica said to Aqua, and Axel does deny to Sayax that he's found it, but Sayax knows that Axel's been lying to him about something.
Did you search every room?
Are you kidding? You know as well as I do that searching through every room there is impossible.
And the chamber? Did you find it?
Come on, I would have told you that much.
We also need you to go back to Castle Oblivion soon.
Says Lord Xemnas.
That castle hasn't given up all its secrets. One, even he doesn't know of its whereabouts.
Even he doesn't know. You mean the chamber, right? We turned that place inside out. If it's there, we're not gonna find it just by looking. By finding the room that Xemnas is searching for. You would find out everything about Xemnas' true agenda, am I right?
The Chamber of Repose as well as the Chamber of Waking. Xemnas has an agenda that he hasn't told to anybody. And we are bound to find some clues in the Chamber of Waking. And once we obtain those clues, we'll have the upper hand for our own objectives.
If there's something going on, just be straight with me for once, will ya?
Do you mean just like you are always honest with me?
Well, you got me there, I guess.
Now, their friendship is kind of going through some stuff, so this could be about the chamber. It could be about just Axel being better friends with Roxas now, too. So we just don't actually know. But it would be a pretty interesting use of Axel's character if he ended up actually knowing where the chamber was, just not knowing that his old friend Ven is actually inside. It seems kind of like an Axel thing to do, to have found the chamber and just not told anybody, because he doesn't really want Sayax going through with getting deeper into Xemnas' scheme. It seems almost exactly like something he would do to protect a friend by keeping it hidden until he realizes how important that chamber actually is. And even though no one really knows what's inside either the Chamber of Waking or the Chamber of Repose, Zexion especially knows about both of these chambers. We see him in Hollow Bastion, or I guess Radiant Garden now, in the computer lab right over the Chamber of Repose. We know he and Vexen are curious about these two rooms, to say the least, so I'm wondering if Zexion wouldn't try to get into the Chamber of Repose, and if he does, then he would find the armor of Aqua's in there and be able to connect the dots that Ventus must be in the other chamber. And even if he's not the one to do it himself, he could probably point someone like Sora or Riku in the right direction to doing that. Or who knows, maybe Sora can follow some kind of connection to Ven's heart through the maze of Castle Oblivion and find him that way. The only real issue is that we don't know if Ven can be found without Aqua unlocking the land or not, so we're just going to have to wait and see how that goes, but we're definitely going to at least figure out he's in the chamber. And my final point for this video is going to be that this game is most likely gonna be too big for just Sora to be the one clashing against all of these Norts. So we need to start considering who would be paired up and who would make sense to have fight who. Like, I think Axel is the only guy who should be allowed to take out Sayax, and Riku has dibs on Ansem, and wouldn't it be great if Kairi ended up being the one to take out Marluxia just because he was such an asshole to nominate? But another pairing that makes a lot of sense is Ventus versus Zigbar, or Brag, or whatever you want to call him. Now, Roxas and Sora both also kind of have some beef with this guy, but there's something about him that seems like it's more afraid of Ven than any of the others because of this scene.
What a blast from the past!
Shield, stop!
Of all the faces, why do I look at her and see yours? Why is it that you always have to glare at me like that?
Shut up!
Huh?
So that's obviously not like definitive proof or evidence of anything, but I just think there's some kind of connection there that makes me think this showdown is definitely the one that's going to happen. It just seems to make sense to me for some reason, so there you go. Pretty shaky little theory, but I don't know, maybe it holds some weight. I mean, of all the faces, it was Ven's, not Aqua's, and she wasn't evil at that point, so it very well could have been her. She fought him just as much as Ven did, so I don't know. It also would be kind of cool if Aquanort does become a thing, then maybe it would only make sense for Ven to be the one to put a stop to her. I mean, I know Sora's obviously the main contender for saving her, or maybe even Riku to like help break the possession, but it just seems like it would be nice if maybe it was also Ven somehow. You know, taking out his parents and getting them back on the road to light, whatever you want to call it, getting them back on Team Good Guy. Because we're looking at like what, 13 on 4 now? If he absorbed those 3, geez, that's not good. Anyway, guys, that's all I've got for you today. None of this is very solid, to say the least, but I think that there's some hope for VenVen, even if Aqua has gone to the dark side. I don't think that means his chances of waking up have, like, tanked down into single digits probability-wise. Like, I think he'll be okay. But that's it from me, so let me know if you have any additional theories to add to this list, or I don't know, maybe you disagree and think he's definitely gonna be a Nord, or definitely not gonna wake up. I don't know, I'd love to hear your thoughts, so leave them below. It's not like January's gonna get here any faster if we don't talk about this kind of stuff, so why not fill the void with some Kingdom Hearts theories that are inevitably not gonna be true. But who cares? It's all in good fun. So that's all I got. Bye!